Star Trek Lower Decks goes back to Deep Space Nine, and it is a surprising ride. So let's take a look in Season 3, Episode 6 of Star Trek Lower Decks. So the episode opens with the Cerritos getting diverted from its mission of taking trade to Deep Space Nine to actually handling the negotiations. The interesting thing is it goes to Deep Space Nine, they do that bit we saw from the trailer.
Sir, how do we do that?
I don't know. Just circle around and pretend we're in awe of the pylons.
Yes, sir.
Just keep circling.
Where they talk about flying around the pylons, which is an amusing part. Like, they could have stretched it out a bit longer. It was a really good open for the episode, and we've got like a couple of different stories going on, and we got like some really exciting sort of cameos or guest stars in Nana Visitor, and Armin Shimmerman as Quark and Colonel Kira. Obviously, I didn't think they played such a huge role in the episode, and it was really, really great to see them. So first things first, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford are really excited about seeing Deep Space Nine. They just want to go there and they want to see everything. Obviously, sort of showing what the fans think that they're going to see. Mariner has to go, doesn't want to go, but she doesn't want to be on Deep Space Nine, so she wants to go with Jennifer. Jennifer wants her to meet her friends, and the episode starts off by going on to Deep Space Nine, and we're pretty much straight away introduced to Colonel Kira, who is running Deep Space Nine. She sounds a little bit older, but the character drawing is younger. I'm interested in why they shortened her hair again, but obviously it's a more recognisable look. Colonel Kira is friends with Shax. They served together during the occupation of Bajor, and they had this interesting thing all the way through the episode of who saved who and who owes who a favour. We have Rutherford and Tendi go off on their own little thing. Tendi meets another Orion, and he just talks about how great it is to be an Orion and how he's a pirate and all of that stuff. Boimler gets stuck in Quarks and just plays Darbo and does really, really well throughout the episode. Armin Shimmerman is there, and he sounds a little bit older, and he's a little bit, I think because of the teeth in his mouth in Deep Space Nine, his voice didn't sound quite right.
Hey, can you sign my pad?
Of course! I love my fans. For a small price, plus bar tax and processing fees.
But it was really good to have him back again. It was really good to have just the feeling of Deep Space Nine. Obviously, Rutherford and Tendi are getting the tour from this Orion, and he's talking about how he's got this pirate tool on his waist and how cool he is and how he's broken into 1 million ships, which we find out later isn't right.
I don't know how. I've never pirated anything in my whole stupid life.
What? It's all you talk about!
I'm a faker. I don't know. I've never even been to Orion. I'm from Cincinnati. What?
Are you freaking serious?
Cincinnati? They got adopted by humans, and everything I know about Orions I learned from the Hollow novels. I have bad ones, too. The ones with the boobs on the cover.
Why would you...
Mariner is in the room with Jen, and it's a sweet relationship where she's just trying to impress Jen's friends, and she's trying to be polite and nice, and you can see like she actively just doesn't want to be there. Jen is sort of looking at her throughout the episode, and I didn't really know why. I thought she was going to get angry, but she doesn't get angry at the end. An interesting little thing they point out, and I found this is actually the most interesting comment in the whole episode, was when the Orion guy turns around and goes, "Oh no, I was born here on Earth. I was born on Earth." It's an interesting thought, because there would be aliens and species on Earth and on other planets of whom their home planet is a different planet, but they're on Earth, or they're on, like, it's an interesting dynamic that we don't really see much in Star Trek. Generally, they're from where they say. Like Worf was from Khitomer, but it's still an alien planet. So he grew up on Earth, he's got Earth attributes. We find out that Tendy's got, her family's a part of the Orion Syndicate, her family is pirates. It's a really, really interesting dynamic that they have in terms of Tendy kicks ass and takes over that ship. Quark's kidnapped because it's all a Quark scheme, so it's kind of like a little Deep Space Nine episode. Quark steals the technology for his vending machines for all his various Quark stores that we've seen in Star Trek Picard and stuff like that. He steals all the parts to make his drink machine from the race that they're dealing with from the Gamma Quadrant. And it's a really interesting thing where like Quark's just rude for no reason. You're like, what the hell's going on? What's changed? So Quark gets kidnapped, and obviously Tendi and that are on the ship, the ship, and they manage to. Tendi kicks ass, like just flattens everyone. Rutherford's just along for the ride, enjoying it all. Boimler takes a back seat in this episode, and I think that's mainly because there's a lot of Deep Space Nine stuff and a lot of Tendi stuff, and I've been waiting for a Tendi-centric episode for a while. I think Mariner and Jennifer's relationship is really sweet. Jennifer admits that she wanted Mariner to be herself so she could sort of knock her friends about it, be a bit bossy with them and tell them they're being stupid, which is a really good open relationship. It's a really good, like that's how a relationship should be. I really enjoyed this episode because it kind of felt like a Deep Space Nine episode, if Deep Space Nine was a cartoon. We didn't get any other guest stars. Armin Shimmerman and Nana Vista are sort of your central roles, which you don't really need because everyone else pretty much would have left. Like Worf obviously went back to the Enterprise. Odo's in the Gamma Quadrant. The Cisco's probably would have left or at least gone and lived on Bajor. So pretty much everyone is left. Like I was thinking about it, I'm going, most people would have left. Like O'Brien might still be there. Oh no, he left. So everyone's gone, it's just those two. And the dynamic's really, really good. Overall, this episode is, once again, like, the beginning of the season was really slow and I was a bit curious as to what they were going for. Like, he kept saying there was a continued story. We got Bold Boimler back and he wins on the Darbo tables and then they accuse him of cheating. And he's not. And then the other Ferengi, one of the barmen, offers him gift certificates and he goes, oh, cool, I'll take that. Gift certificates for the gift shop. I don't need money stuff that doesn't use it. And it's like it made no sense in Deep Space Nine why they would play Darbo other than for the fun, because they don't use money. But overall, really great episode. Lots of action beats, really good music. Deep Space Nine looked really good in animation. Colonel Kira was really nice to see her again. She didn't have much to do, but her back and forth with Shax was really, really good. I liked the implication that if anything goes wrong, it's always the wormhole. It's interesting, and there's sort of hints. They talk about the Dominion War, and do you know what it really makes me think? Where are these references to Deep Space Nine, and the continuing universe from the end of Deep Space Nine in the other Star Trek shows, particularly Picard? Like, they don't really deal with ramifications of the Dominion War. They don't really deal with any of those characters coming back. We need a Deep Space Nine spin-off, I feel.